Bunch of legends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What
Mama
is
Chino.
going on, crew?
Welcome to your first AI lecture you never signed up for.
Mate, you always bring a crowd, don't you, Divi? You're very good at forcing me onto the stage. I appreciate you, bro.
Gitu and I pulled the trigger.
Geet, how are you?
That's our job.
I appreciate you guys so much. I feel like all the stars are actually the very kind, quote unquote, flies on the walls that have all decided to jump on this call for this random called Mamba. So I'm just going to say Greg Pal Singh, Bharti and Ria. I know Ria. Ria, great to connect. Great to see you again. Yeah. And Anna DJ. What's going on, guys? How are we?
Bro, bloody good, man. Keen to learn from you in the age of AI with everything changing. Everyone basically is at different stages of the process. We have a mix of my friends over here that are builders and a developer. Greg's a CRM marketer moving into an AI automations guy. Ria, what does she not do? Everything from audio, video, podcasts. Yep. She's a weapon, and she's also been playing around with it. Geet and I, Bharti, please mute. Geet and I both. 1 second.
Let me see if I can mute.
Or maybe we can mute them.
I think I can. Okay, yep. Muted. Awesome. Yep.
Thank you.
I feel like gold mode. I've just kind of silenced everyone.
No, but I understand, man. You got limited time. I appreciate you coming in. And yeah, the main thing is Geet and I know that we're a little bit behind on the AI race. And we just hosted a marketing offsite of another team that came to lock into AI agents. And it made Geet and I look at each other and go, fuck, we need to catch up.
We need to catch up.
A lot of manual work happening at Jungli. Yeah. So that's a little bit about who's in the room, man. Tell us about you. A lot of people haven't met you yet.
So good. Crew, far out. I don't know, Divi, do we go back to our origin story? When I first locked eyes with you across that dance floor in Queenstown at 5 a.m. and double martinis in hand, and I said, you're the one for me. No, sorry, that's a different story. Sorry, wrong crowd, wrong audience. I got stories for days.
Go for it.
We these two crazy souls, these brown brothers from another mothers, met way back at Uber like over 10 years ago. Similar to Divi, I've taken the pressure cooker of everything we learned at Uber, and I'm so grateful I get to share that and help other creatives, other business owners, other founders right now, basically build their communities, build their businesses. And I've done it through a number of different side tours. Sometimes it's been through content creation. Sometimes it's been through operations consulting. Right now, it's probably moving more into the AI space at the moment. And then to just kind of fast track where I am right now as a kind of a freelancing consultant. I'm a head of operations for an online education business. And we just basically teach hundreds of probably creators, builders, entrepreneurs similar to you, how to build a personal brand. I think Divi was kind of my very first customer. Literally, I was teaching this probably years ago. So when people are like, how did Divi build his personal brand? I'm so proud that he's kind of the poster child I can point to, because he actually showed up for the calls I did with him. He actually implemented everything, and then now has more followers on Instagram than I do. And I'm like, shit, the student has surpassed the teacher. So I get to do that on a bigger scale inside an online community that's called Time to Build. I run it with a fellow Australian, and we literally do this every single week. We're rolling out what we're learning, what's working in the online space on social, business optimization. And I don't know how much Divi mentioned, but I had mind my French for everyone here at the moment, I had an oh shit moment. Like you guys did at the recent marketing summit you hosted. I had that about 3.5 weeks ago. And I had this conversation with my colleague as well, who runs the business. And we watched this tutorial and we suddenly realized it's you think you've been running really quickly, but then all of a sudden you realize that you're walking at the equivalent pace of what sprinters are able to do. That guy that just did an hour and 59 minutes and 40 seconds of the marathon, that's quick. And these tools have a bit of a learning curve, but I am so excited and inspired that I think every single person in this room, and that I'll probably ever, speak to, has an ability to apply this into their life. It's just a matter of asking how, not getting caught up in the hype circle and every single update and every single tech bro on Instagram that is just newest update, Nano just crushed this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if we're all getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of it. You need to drown 99% of the noise and the crap and go, there is 0.01% of use case. The document that Divi shared is perfect. Essentially, if there was a bit of homework I'd leave everyone with just at the start of the call, it's you want to do what Divi essentially did, and probably Geet as well, and just dumped all of the operational process, workflow, bottlenecks, struggles that you, your team, your business currently has, just brain dump it. You can voice note transcribe it, feed it into whichever AI model you have. I'm in Claude right now, but I'm not a brand ambassador. They're going to change. Every model does different things differently, depends on the use case. But I just want to implore everyone here, if you are a fly on the wall, but you just observe how this interaction goes, or I hopefully can guide Divi and the way you guys think about your businesses is it's like we're trying to solve real, very specific problems that actually move the needle. Don't just make a fancy dashboard and spend all of your tokens because some influencer told you to. You're actually driving a result that saves you time, makes your life easier, frees you up to do more high leverage things, or actually just enjoy your life and hang out a little bit more. It's not all about productivity for productivity's sake. It's all about giving you guys time back, which is a shared vision that, Divi and I both have with entrepreneurs. It's Jungli's a living embodiment of it. I basically do it in an online capacity for everyone that I help out with. So that was a very messy 3-minute TED talk, just of like all the excitement and everything that I feel. I've gone through the document. I've built a little something just to guide today's call, but I just wanted to ask before we kick off, because Geet, you've obviously been going deep in this and you guys are having chats. I know where Divi's at. Could you give me like a temperature pulse check, like 0 to 10? 10 is like power user. 0 is like, I haven't even opened GPT threat. What's your appetite? What's your interest? What have you been geeking out with Divi so far that I may have missed? It'll just help me orientate what we do today. All right, Geethika, let me know if you can unmute.
Geet.
Yep, Geet, you there? Awesome, I've unmuted. You should be good. Yep.
I would say I am somewhere between 6 and 7.
Great.
Because I use all these different models. I use GPT and Claude a little bit.
Beautiful.
On the daily, but I would like tips and tricks to kind of use it more efficiently.
Yep.
That I want to learn.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because it's kind of like, I think we all realize this. We're all realizing that like we know we can all use it efficiently, but we don't know what we don't know. And my aim, at least what I'm inspired to, is to close that gap for every single person. And it may not be relevant if we've got like podcasters and creatives and marketers and CRM folk and all sorts of whatever, but I just want you to just go through the line of thinking. And Divi, like I hope this is selfishly a great piece of content for us, where it's like, you've got all these problems, you've got all these thoughts, you don't know what you don't know. If I can guide you and say, yes, we can do that, no, we can do that, here's how we can think about it. That's the level of thinking I want everyone here to extract to their own life or to your own business or project or brand or whatever you're doing, if that's fair for everyone. All right, let's...
Perfect, man. I was just gonna say, like, feel free to go ahead and share your screen, and then if it's useful, there's the Jungli use case, and there's this OS that I'm making to kind of help run Jungli's operations, and we can look at that as an example of something that everyone in this call kind of knows about Jungli's problems, and they've been, except Ria. We just can't crack getting Ria to Jungli. I don't know why. We'll have to work on that separately.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm really keen to hear from your call, and then I can show you a bit about what I've built in 24 hours and what where I'm stuck or where we could get some deeper help in. But go ahead.
All right, let's do it. Let's go start. Let's see if this one's going to actually stream. I'm going to do a quick little share. And if it is either my internet or your internet, and it's actually, no, what am I saying? Jungli has better internet than we do. We've established this. You have like the most cracked internet speed. I'm in like Brisbane. Anyway, I don't know how you get it in the jungle, but you had an amazing dev who worked with you to set that all up. All right, let's go. Second camera. All right. So the kind of like the elephant in the room, or the I was going to say the tiger in the jungle. I don't know what the right analogy here would be. The leopard in the jungle, the Leo in the jungle. Would be just getting me just getting kind of like a 10,000 foot view of like the MowgliOS. I think I've had a lot of conversations with like the V1s and the V2s you've been scrapping together, but just like in true Uber raw dog style, we've been stitching together a lot of tools with like Zapiers and Google Sheets, and there's this really messy tech stack. I understand that it's like you have some members of your team who are versed in tech, some slightly older, more senior members that, let's say, don't love working with this stuff. And a dream outcome would be this like dashboard that I envisioned where you would internally, like probably between you, Divi, and maybe like another senior tech hire that you bring on board the team, because you don't want to do maintenance 24/7 and debugging on this. You basically pull everything together in the diagram that you showed me, which was actually spot on. Like you're going to centralize all of your data, and then there's just going to be this clean front end that your entire team will just log in with their personal email address, and it only gives them view access to what they need to see. So if you're a cleaner, if you're in the kitchen, if you're doing a team concierge, if you're whatever part of the team is, you're only seeing the information that you need to see. That's kind of the vision I think I have, and I kind of abstracted from what you've shared. But I just kind of had a bit of a back and forth with Claude, and just to get very meta with everyone here for a second, this was vibe coded using Claude to give you an example. I didn't create this slide. I just had a long back and forth conversation. I took context from what Divi shared in the WhatsApp. I transcribed some of the voice notes. I loaded up his document. I told it to, I had some back and forth questions I had myself, and then it built this just so I had a quick little visual demonstration. So I'm very AI friendly, just to kind of live and breathe what we're talking about. So Divi, that's kind of my high level. Did I miss anything there, or do you want to add anything? And I've kind of got the few questions that I just wanted to like screen before I could help walk this one through with you.
Bro, you're absolutely spot on. It's almost like we've worked together and sat on the same desk for years. Ooh, we're getting
Let me just
feedback.
mute. Sorry about that. I'm just muted.
All good?
Yep, awesome.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good. You're good.
Nice. I was going to say it's almost like we've worked together and sat on a desk next to each other for 2 years.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to add, I didn't introduce Shri Krishna in the chat. Shri Krishna is on the call. He is an amazing guy that's helping us virtually with previously Google Sheets dashboards, now moving to Claude.
Right.
So he is that developer that will be able to just help maintain things,
Perfect.
audit things. Where I'm right now on the build, I spent most of yesterday building a database on Superbase,
Amazing.
post GRE SQL database
Just like
with
Uber.
all different Uber days, bro.
Yeah,
so just with all kinds of tables we'll need, like properties, rooms, stays, guests,
Right.
transport, all that sort of stuff, extras, all that stuff is now mostly built. I'm just doing a cleanup of the tables. The single biggest thing blocking you from finishing, honestly, nothing, just time. So I'm continuing to go and iterate. But the things that are annoying is like it's taking long to build the front end. It's not getting the intuitiveness of the features that I want. So I'm feeding it inspirations and like working through it very manually. But I do wonder if there's a better way. For example, if there's a app out there that's already 90% of what I want that I can feed to it and it can just like learn from it and then get back. Am I stuck? Nope. Cool. You can see me?
Yep.
All right, cool. Am I building solo with AI tools? Currently, I'm building solo with Claude Code and a bit of ChatGPT. ChatGPT knows me very intimately. So using a bit of ChatGPT to throw in like, what other columns should I have and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then after that, I'm going to get Karthik and Shri Krishna to test it from a dev angle. And then Geet, Sahil, Ayan, Bharti to test it from a user angle. These are the users of the app.
Yep.
Definition of done for V1 is the ability for Geetika to make a booking once. So her application system currently lies outside of this. It's a tally form Google Sheet. That's fine. Because once she vets someone and says, yep, they're a Jungli and they're coming and we have the money and all that stuff, then she can put them into a booking system once, a booking form that pre-populates a booking calendar. That calendar is also easy to use with draggable sidebars where you can extend dates and all that stuff easily. I've already built that part. And that pre-populates then a guest card where hospitality can see who's coming, when. Oh, okay, I can see that last time they loved bonfires.
Yeah.
So make sure that I get a bonfire ready. So this is a community first OS. It's a bit different to the typical veg, harmony, non-veg, and stuff like that. Oops, sorry, I don't know if it's my internet. I'm not at Jungli, I'm in a hotel.
Okay.
And and then like taxi view so that we can see what taxis are coming and going today and batch taxis together. So I can show you that in the end, but the definition of done is that the team gets time back in repetitive data entry kind of tasks.
Amazing. Really, really thorough. Okay, thank you. That is on-ramped me very quickly. I can flip it over to your document and we can knock them off one by one because you just sped run that through a lot quicker than I expected. I'll give you share access if that's all good, dude. And you pull up the Google document if you've got it.
Cool, sounds good. So I have some questions that I've just added on entire screen share. Cool, can you see my screen?
Let's rock and roll. Yep.
All right, I'll just for context, I'll just show everyone what I'm talking about. So these are the databases on the left that I've been building of everything that we would need that would actually be the, the storage, the data behind the front end. So all our residents and room rates and all that stuff. This is the current front end. It's not ideal. It's just like a MVP and I'm building it out one by one as I go, but it'll show who's on property, who's arriving soon, a search to see all residents inspired by tools.uber.com, by the way.
Cool.
A booking calendar where you can like extend things really easily and, like collapse them and see things, also see staff leave at the same time. Taxis, so we can see cabs coming in and going. Extras, things that people are ordering, and then also switch it to a person-based view so that billing becomes easier. Kitchen, so that Bharti can see how many people to feed and what dietary preferences they all have, including allergies. Maintenance, like inspired by Zendesk. So tickets, so someone can say geezer's broken, tech team can claim it, and actually see it through till resolution with status changes. With timestamps as well, so we know like the speed of completion. And then payments, so we can, this is just dummy data, guys. So payments, so we can see what is the total amount that they owe, what is the total amount they've paid, and I probably need to make another bill view to generate a bill and make it easy. And then dashboards in the end split by department, so we can see the data that we need to see. So that's the overall vision, just not like it's cooked. It's not not there yet, but it's 24 hours of work.
I'm with Geet in saying, dude, for a 24-hour vibe coding run, this is mind blowing, bro. You got to understand.
Thank you, man.
The best thing I love is when there's someone in my life and I'm like, just I don't know if everyone's heard this phrase, FAFO. Fuck around and find out. You just start talking and typing and mashing and pushing it, and all of a sudden you hit your API max and you're like, fucking keep going. Let's pay for more credits and upgrade my plan. And then Divi's now built a dashboard that would have taken 10 competent software developers to have built that 5-10 years ago at a salary of like, $500,000. So well done, dude. That is a really impressive V1. And I don't know, but I felt relieved knowing how many tools and how many pieces of data you've now centralized, because that used to be 5, 6, 7 different tools used to coordinate. So well done. That's really good for V1. All right, let's crack in.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, let's crack on. So the thing that's I think helped move it quicker is I spent a good half day on giving context.
Yeah.
So so these are my dirty notes on the right that I've just added. So I set up a bunch of context files and gave it global instructions to
What is a
always
context
check.
file real quick? This is also just for everyone who's a fly on the wall.
Oh, yeah. So when you start with Claude Work, it needs to learn you. So you can like tell it information about you and ask it to make different files that are called .md or markdown files. So it knows like about you, about Jungli, how we want to work together, what is your brand and tone of voice, and then it forever saves those informations so that every time it works, it can refer back to that and also update it as you go. It's like the soul of the AI. But the question that I have with it, this is like question 1. If you like, we can go question by question or whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll wrap it.
The question I have with it is, now that I have .md files, in Cowork, should I be using chats or projects? What's the difference?
Great question. I actually had to nut this the other week because I was starting to get really frustrated with it going forwards. So the way I've been discerning chat and Cowork, which for anyone who doesn't know, if you get the desktop app for Claude, there are kind of like 3 modes, and the internet's kind of changing every week with what it is. Chat, I think of it as like your brainstorming partner, and you can create projects in there that are just dedicated to kind of brainstorming. Cowork's really interesting because now Cowork can essentially take over your Google Chrome or your desktop and do work for you. So you can walk away, go and have a coffee, and it literally shows like it has permissions and it asks for like trust, do you allow it to, etc. And it will show you that it is clicking, moving files, renaming things. I do my shopping list, for example, with Cowork. It's crazy. That's just one of my use cases. So it loads up a shopping list and it goes click, click, click. So that's what Cowork looks like from Divi. Now, Divi's asking which should you use, or do you create projects or chats? To save.
So one second, Mamba, if I can clarify.
Yeah.
I didn't mean chats. I'm not even using chat. I meant in Cowork, there's projects or tasks.
And then threads. And there's tasks.
Yeah.
So
tasks,
what you
I
want
don't know what they're called. Threads.
Yeah. I'm calling them chats, but it probably should be threads. My apologies. Yeah, you're right. Let's just call them threads for this point onwards, even I don't know the lingo. Yeah. So a project houses all the brains for a very specific kind of like task. So for example, I have a Instagram project, I have a website project, I have a time to build project. All the areas of my life, or in your case, it could be departments of Jungli, all get their own project. Then you have a memory that updates in real time. So as it learns more about all of the threads inside of that, every 24 hours, Claude goes, I'm going to update all the key things that Divi mentioned, compact it, and add it to the memory. There's also an instruction file you can add, and there's also like a project file, which is like SOPs and things you can add. Then you can just start as many threads as you want within that project. So you might have, for example, a project is team division 1, but then you might have a separate little sub thread within that is like, I'm really like winging it here, but I'm just saying like kitchen, and then it could be a thread within it, and it could be like scheduling, it could be dietary requirements, it could be whatever it needs to be. So you as a sole operator, it's just a way of you compartmentalizing all these different sections that are running simultaneously. But all those threads in a project will all be pointing back to the memory, instructions, and project files you feed it. So they've all got that shared soul that you were talking about just before.
Cool. That's really clear. Thanks. So MowgliOS, I'm calling it MowgliOS for now. It should have been a project. That was a problem because some of the tasks, the chats were getting really big, and then I was starting a new chat and realizing it knows the MD, like the soul, but it doesn't know what we just spoke about like a second ago. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So in project, they can all reference each other threads. You can literally say, can you reference the chat about, etc. And it's like, bang, it pulls up access. Instead of isolated chats, which is how we all start using GPT and Claude, we just have a left sidebar of a million random chats, and then none of them talking to one another. We've all done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That clears a lot up. Let's move to the next one.
Yeah.
So I figured out connectors and MCP custom connectors, but I want to see more use cases on how you're using it.
Okay.
Maybe you can also give everyone a little heads up on what it is.
Amazing. So an MCP, I actually knew what it stood for the other day, but you could probably Google it or Claude it in 2 seconds. Basically, you want to think of like an MCP or a connector, literally like it does what it says, a model context protocol. Perfect. It's the equivalent of like, you know, when you have like an iPhone or a smartphone and you need to connect it to like your laptop to charge it, but then you need to connect it to like a different wall charger, you need to connect it to something. MCP is just the infrastructure that lets you plug all of these different tools that you're using. So what Divi's showing on the screen right now, perfect. He's got these things called connectors where he's connected his Canva account, his Google Calendar account, his Google Drive account. And the reason why this is like blowing everyone's minds right now is you can give it permission to go into all of these tools yourself and build things for you. It can write Gmails for you. It can design things in Canva with your brand guidelines. It can record Fathom calls. I've got an MCP called Fathom. Every time these calls finish up and it's scraped all of the AI notes from it, it automatically pushes an update. And I have a Notion database with all of my Fathom calls and I can scrape that and turn it into, anyway, things get really deep. I'm not going to go into it. So you don't have to add all these
Finish
connectors.
that thought. You can turn it into content. I love that. Turn your everyday meetings into your LinkedIn posts or whatever. That's
like literally, it's wild when you get deep. That's like a 3-hour masterclass if I wanted to. So all you guys need to do if you're in this section of Claude is you need to think, what is my tech stack I'm using right now? What are the 5 to 10 most important tools that I use? Go into connectors. It's worth you doing it. Go search and just look. Be like Google Calendar, 100%. It can look at your calendar. It can schedule events for you. Gmail, it can draft emails for you, but it won't send them. You know, Tally Forms, absolutely. Google Sheets, it can read Google Sheets and be like, better than a $60,000 data analyst at an investment banking firm. It can rip through a spreadsheet on your behalf if you just tell it to, and it's a one-time connection. So you do all these connectors or MCPs that Divi has. Once they're authenticated, they're good. In rare occasions, the authentication can kind of like break or expire. It's just server internet things. It just happens. You literally just go back. It'll tell you that the authentication is not working. It will ask you to re-log in again, and then that's all there is. And you've just got access to all the files that are there. So MCPs are a massive yes. Like you're basically operating, you'd be going into Google Sheet, downloading a CSV, dragging it into Claude, asking it to analyze it, stuff that. You literally natural language it and say, go to my spreadsheet called Jungli onboarding March 2026. And it just goes it straight away. Just access it like an intern basically doing it for you. Let's do it right now as an example.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it says like, oh, I can't go there. Even though in the context file, I have told it and it does have the MCP connected. So I don't know, we can troubleshoot that later. That's not as important because I then just end up like saying go to Claude in Chrome and pull it instead.
Okay. Yep.
Interesting. It's going to tally. I wanted it to go to the sheet, but I said
that I was actually going to give you a little loving criticism. The more specificity you have, the less back and forth and the less tokens you're going to be burning. So as you can see, my boy here is at 90% of his session limit, which means he's been cranking. The currency of prompting and of AI is how many tokens you have. And the flex on the internet is how efficient can you be with your token usage? How few back and forths can you be? How good is your context? How clear are your instructions? So if Divi, for example, went, go to my Tally MCP connector or my Tally account, find the form called this, like it will guess it, but it doesn't guarantee it because if I'm connected to Typeform and Tally and Google Forms, it has to take a guess and go, which one is Mamba talking about when he says forms? So it will take a punt based on recent conversations, but it could be wrong. And then you have to go, no, you idiot. No, Claude, you idiot. Go back to Tally. No, go, like if you just nailed it in the first prompt, you have to treat it like an intern on their first day and you got to hold their hand for like the first 3 months and the memory file will get better and better. So pull it from the Tally MCP connector, it'll work it. And then, back and forth, we'll see it kind of iterate and get there. I've only learned.
I also realized I have $4 of usage left. So I'm trying to upgrade to Pro because I the same thing as you. I'm spending more money on buying add-ons. Yeah. I might as well get Pro for 2 months, crush this thing, and then Max, and then come back down. And then come back to Pro.
Once everything's set up, that's the perfect thing. So you've just
but it's not letting me.
We got to.
I'm having some payment issue. I'll figure that out. But
yeah. Okay, so pull it from the Tally MCP. Yeah, so it just asks you to authorize or to connect it, which is often what will happen. Now it'll say working on it. The reason why the internet's loving Claude over a lot of other AI tools is it shows its logic. So if you click on thinking, see how it says thinking with a little drop down, a little bit up above that, where it says fetch submissions, click on that. It will show you in natural language what it's doing, not some hieroglyphics that no one can understand. So look at it, total 120 responses, and then you can keep just back and forth talking, being like, give me analysis. Who was the biggest pain in the ass customer? How much money did Mamba spend on coconuts? Like, who was the best looking customer? Like, just whatever the analysis has, you can just keep going back and forth right now. So look at that. And you can dig deep. You can ask it to visualize. You can ask it to create graphs. You can try and get it to communicate with other things like write a team email with this information to just those in my team in customer support or concierge support. And then be like, because it's connected to Gmail, it'll draft the email. You go in, you can send it. So it gets really cool when you start connecting all your tools and it does it on your behalf.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Awesome, bro. Thanks. That's really helpful. Do you have any other use cases of MCPs, interesting things you've come across that we can learn from?
Ooh, it's always going to be context specific. So like we're doing like our equivalent of JungliOS is we use like a pre-built community platform called Circle.so. It's like school, it's like Kajabi. And they just released an MCP plugin like literally 2 weeks ago. The reason why I'm just so buzzing with everything that's happening is all these major platforms are realizing that the world is just like coding with Claude and GPTs, and they're all rolling out MCPs, which basically means you can now plug in and access it. Circle just rolled out their MCP, and for the first time, I now don't have spreadsheet data and Zapier data and Typeform data from all of our students that join our program. I'm no longer trying to like update and import and CSV it and Google Drive it and etc. It just supports directly into Circle, which is like our North Star. So like that's the coolest use case Tom and I have been having, because we've now looked at 3.5 years of member data, every comment, every question, every DM, every single post or piece of data, and now we can do a really accurate ICP scrape. So we can get all the information. I'm sharing that because I'm not too sure, Divi, if there's any bells ringing from like every onboarding submission you have, any piece of feedback, like you can synthesize and go, hey, I need you to do a deep analysis on our target ICP. Can you make 5 archetypes of Jungli, travelers that come here? Oh, the creative nomad, the guy that's just trying to make money for e-commerce, the person that wants to chill out and just like meditate. Like you might have different archetypes. You might have different feedback that's coming through. It just helps you rinse it way more effectively. And it's helped us actually update our marketing and landing pages to now match the language that real customers are using, that we're actually feeding back onto the landing page. Tom is using in his videos, and we're actually informing what we say at the top of our funnel based on what current customers are saying who actually match our target ICP. So even though Circle's a bit different, I just want you to think about how the use case of plugging into all these apps, like the tally feedback you get when someone leaves and provides feedback. Geet, I think, was doing a beautiful video testimonial from me. Can you scrape the transcripts of everyone that's done a recorded video testimonial and use their exact verbatim language? And then when you do ads, paid or organic, landing page content, emails that you send out, and you draft it in Claude, be like, using the language of our target ICP or of this archetype, the creative nomad or the traveler, can you write an email that targets their desires and their needs based on what they're saying? So like you can just understand, like I'm just rambling, and these are just ideas that are coming up top of mind, but like that's what we've done in time to build. And I just think there's a really strong use case where this data isn't just like now sitting there and it's like, oh, it's nice that we have access to it through MCPs, but like I said, it's when it moves the needle forward for your business. Does it attract more of the right people? Are you validating that who you think is your core customer actually is your core customer? You're going less from feels and emotions, and you're going more from data that you can like pull up in 2 seconds. So that's kind of my thinking.
Amazing. Thanks. I just want to stop and check in on your time. Where are you at with your time? What's your hard stop?
You know how we go, dude. We never go for half an hour. I'm going for 60. Everyone here can love and leave and jump off whenever. There'll be a recording of this I'll make available through Fathom if anyone wants it, with an AI summary. But if anyone needs to jump off at any point, I won't be offended.
I think most people are going to be pretty locked in, mate.
So let's lock the fuck in.
So I have a side question that I haven't written down that just came up because of what you said. Transcribing videos, big use case for me. I've tried yesterday by going to go on this YouTube video of top 10 lessons that some girl called Tina learned vibe coding so that I can learn those lessons. And it went, I can't script the video or I can't access it. And so I had to use Glasp, which you showed me, I think, and then summarize the YouTube video and then put the ChatGPT output. And I was like, surely Cowork should be able to do this. So how are you doing that?
Yeah. So there's a couple of ways of doing it. I don't know if it's about the prompt or the instruction, but YouTube videos specifically, they actually have a transcription section in there. I think Geet's already smiling and nodding because she knows it. All you need to do is you can link it to the video. You can say, here's the video. Can you go to the tab or the transcription, and it'll open the description bar and tell it to actually copy all the transcription. So that's number one, if you want to do it. Number two, and I'm jumping away from Claude for a second. Gemini, owned by Google, who owns YouTube, is the GOAT. If you have, and I'm saying this is a free Gemini account. You don't need the paid. In fact, I'd even say do it right now on the screen, Divi, just to share everyone. Literally log into Gemini, just type in Gemini on Google. Your free account.
Gemini?
I know you think that, but I use this to scrape or transcribe. So you can now, don't even do it. You just go get the URL of a recent YouTube video. I'm putting you on the spot here. What does your search history show? Straight to vibe coding.
Come on.
Hey, grab anything. Grab this girl's video. Grab the URL. Yep. Awesome. Yeah. Paste it and then go, can you export the transcript of this video and turn it into a .md or .txt file and just see what it does. Interesting to see because you got the fast model. Yeah, I've got the paid version of Google Gemini because of another reason, like Notebook LM, and it's kind of a bit of an internal brain. But yeah, Gemini's good at.
How many second brains do you have, bro? You can eat brains, outsourcing brains.
It's cooked. It's too cooked. But they're all different use cases. That's the dilemma with AI. There's no best tool. It's what is the process or the mission that you have to achieve, and then what is the right tool for that. I'm not affiliated to any particular AI platform. I'm like, which one gives you the best results, and then you just double down on that and just ignore all the noise. I will say also, because I think Gemini, unfortunately, you're on the free account, and it not throttles you, but it kind of like puts you at the back of the queue because you're not like a priority power user anyway.
Also, I picked a very big video. Does that matter?
That probably might have been that. Do you know how long is the video? Is it like an hour?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So what it's doing is it's working right now. It's doing the thing in the back end. I'd say jump back to the questions and we can return to this video.
Sounds good. Cheers, bro. Yeah. So good to know. So for transcripts, I'm just making some dirty notes, hope you don't mind. Yeah, transcripts, ask it to check the YT transcript. If it's not a YouTube file, if it's a local file, can Cowork go to my local video, my hard drive, and pull the transcript for subtitling purposes?
Yes. So say that again. So you've got a file on your hard drive and you want Cowork to go and transcribe it.
Yes.
My short answer is no, but there's a longer answer, and it's probably outside the scope of today's call.
Which is the video you sent me, yeah?
Kind of, yes. Have you dabbled
Hyperflows and all that?
Yeah, correct. Have you dabbled with, this is the kind of the advanced boss mode of Claude. Have you played any time in Claude Code?
Not yet, which is my last question for you. Where does Code fit in?
Code is the ultimate unlock. It is like the Ferrari F430. It is the ultimate vehicle because what Claude Code can do so well is it can access everything on your computer that you give it permission to. You know how the world went crazy about OpenClaw, but then 3 days later, everyone was like, this is cooked because it can just go rampant with like my API credentials, my credit cards, all the above. OpenClaw is a beast. Then Claude basically came out like 3 weeks later and released like 90% of what OpenClaw was, but like infinitely more secure and easier for you to manage. You don't have to set up a server or buy a Mac Mini and do all that crap that everyone on the internet's doing and then spend like 72 hours of your life trying to figure out how to set up like a virtual server and sandbox stuff and set up, like that's, no one here is a developer, right? Claude Code is basically something that accesses or can access what's called the terminal feature of your computer, whether you're on Mac or whether you're on Windows, and you are still giving it permission to access it. But Claude Code works a little bit slower in that, like, you have to kind of be like, yes, you have permission to go into the screen of my computer and click on files and do things. Claude Code can just go directly to the directories of any files or folders you've got. So that way, if you've got a video on your desktop, like I do, and you've got a plugin that can then transcribe those videos, you can tell Claude Code through natural language, there is a video located in this folder. I need you to run the skill or run the plugin or run the script, which is a separate thing, but basically you can tell Claude Code to create its own scripts or its own processes to do the things you want it to. It will come back and be like, I recommend we do this, this, this. You say, thumbs up, mate. I have no idea what you said, but I like it. And then you get it to run it. It's called a script, and then it can transcribe those things. So that's the longer answer. You can start doing really custom stuff in Claude Code. In Claude Cowork is a little bit more like a fifth grader that you've just given a mouse and a keyboard and really clear instructions, and it kind of slowly goes around your screen and clicking and clacking and doing things, and you have to take your hands off the keyboard. You have to let it do its thing and literally go and have a coffee, because if you start trying to move your keyboard while Cowork's trying to work, you stop its flow, it interrupts, it thinks that you're stopping it. So that's why Cowork's a bit of a pain, because it's more of a like, oh, I'm just going to go for a 10-minute walk, but Cowork, I'm going to let you like, update all of the file names or do those spreadsheet entries. Whereas Claude Code, you can run multiple Claude Code threads and be like, transcribe this video, send a video, prepare an email for the team, update the spreadsheet, make these changes to JungliOS. You can have 4 threads. It's all going code, and you can just keep using your mouse in the real time. So that's kind of the step up. I was thinking I was going to nudge you to towards the end of this call, which is like, you've advanced from beginner. I can take the training wheels off you. Like Claude Cowork is a solid step, but then Claude Code is the one where I want to push you in the deep end. Now that you're really versed in the Anthropic ecosystem, all of your connectors, all your skills, all of your APIs, it's the same deal, but it has access to Divi's MacBook hard drive. And that's a game changer if you've got a lot of files there that you want to just transcribe or change or rewrite in real time. That's my case.
Bro, that's amazing. Super helpful to know the difference. Thanks. So chat is just a chatbot. Cowork is a 5th grader who'll drive your screen slowly.
Yep.
And then Claude Code is the Ferrari. But the question I have is, I've already allowed this to to use my computer, and Claude has been using my computer and like moving some files in my Finder and stuff.
Yep.
But are you saying that code is just more made for it, and Cowork is
it's more made for it? It's like it operates so much faster. I'm really bad at describing like what terminal is, because it's this kind of like coding-esque like tool that not a lot of people use, but it basically can help you run really fast commands that just can make changes like instantaneously, like in half a second with scripts. Whereas with Cowork, it kind of has to like, it literally, like you sometimes see it narrate, it's like, I am opening the Finder window. Open Finder window. Can't find the file. Take a screenshot. Put in the chat. Don't know where Divi found the file. Oh, found another file called image. I'm going to click there. Like it's kind of fifth grader level. Whereas
it's literally been my life for the last day. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Like you could have moved 10 times faster with code.
Wow.
But I'm not here to like criticize you because of it, because code is like a bit of a big step up if you haven't had like, an entry level introduction to it. We could do it today at the end of the call, and I could show you some of the stuff I'm doing in Claude Code, just to give you like a real example. But yes, is the short answer, is like you can get transcriptions going. You can run custom kind of workflows you want that are linked to your computer, because I'm conscious that some of the Jungli IP or context is sitting on your hard drive, and sometimes you just want Claude to have access to it all without maybe you having to drag it every time. Or maybe it's all cloud. Maybe it's all in Google Sheets and Google Workspace. You tell me.
Yeah, it's mostly on the cloud, but that's really, really cool. You've actually answered a lot of questions with the Claude Code thing. So from 11:50, I want to just give it to you to like show us your Claude Code, and we can just like deep dive and learn about you. I think the one question that I have that's going to be really useful now is, can you tell us about skills and scheduled tasks, which I guess is a connection of skill, and plugin? These are the three things I've not yet figured out yet.
The big boys. These are when you go hyper turbo mode. So skills. Imagine like you get to this point where you're like, all right, there are 5 or 10 processes that my team does every week. Every Monday, we either generate a dashboard or we craft an email, or there's an offboarding sequence that happens for every single guest that goes through. A skill is a fancy word of just a really well-written SOP, standard operating procedure, in a markdown file. Now, you can then basically get your Claude to ingest that SOP, which is a series of steps. Step 1, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And you can now prompt a skill so that when you write /analyzer, /comparator, /grader, offboarding, or whatever it is, right? Because you don't have any skills included just like built out yet. But when you do, you can go / and it just runs it, and it just runs the whole thing on autopilot because you've already built it out. I don't recommend people jump straight to skills. I actually recommend do processes multiple times in your first couple of weeks of using Claude or using whatever, and then ask yourself, what am I doing over and over that I'd love to automate, kind of like automate or systemize? Now, routines go a step further, and that's why I want to share them next. Skills, you can queue them ad hoc. Like Divi gets in, it's Friday afternoon. He's like, all right, I need to do this one thing. Or I need to get a report built out. Queue a skill, run it, and it will just run through all the steps on your desktop, sending things. A routine is just like a scheduled skill. You can tell it to basically run a process every single week. So if you have a team email, you have your team meeting, your Jungli meeting, Tuesday afternoons at 5 o'clock down in the...
Monday evenings, yeah.
Okay, I made my appearance, so I know it, right? So let's just say you're stressing, and a classic Divi is like 3 hours before he's making slides and doing updates and trying to get everyone to submit all their stuff right now. Eventually, you'll have a skill that will do as much of the heavy grunt work as possible. It will pull numbers, pull key updates, do everything that you need to, and spit it out into a clean dashboard that you're going to present every meeting, or like a set of slides or whatever. You can schedule that every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, so it just runs without you even having to think about it. You come back from lunchtime, and at 12:30, it's sitting in your inbox, or it's sitting in your Canva, or it's sitting in whatever you're going to present with, and it's all ready to go, and then you can do the final tweaks. So that's what the schedule is. And then I think you said there was one more. Was it plugins?
Yeah. So one sec, is skill therefore sitting in Cowork or in code, or does it sit between both?
Great question. A skill sits in... it's this root file that is on your actual hard drive, which is really weird. So it's, you know how you can have hidden files on Mac when you go like Command Shift, like whatever? You actually get like this file that is hidden, and it's like .claude. And I know that you already have a .claude file, but it's hidden. Skills basically bake themselves into that folder because it's part of like basically the back end of Claude that you're not meant to see. So it's not like sitting somewhere. You kind of feed it, you tell it to make a skill, and then it kind of saves it into its own hard drive. So you're already seeing a few examples here. It's funny. The skill creator is the meta skill. It's the skill that creates
a skill
other
that makes skills.
It's the ultimate. It's for everyone.
That's
like
amazing.
it's the number one skill you need to have on Claude. You don't even need to learn how to use it. You literally install the skill creator, and then once you've done a process, you've already beaten me to it, which is amazing. You're gonna have a massive thread. This is how you do it. What if you have a massive thread and you're like, I just covered so much ground. This is an amazing process, but I don't want to turn this into an SOP myself. You go /skill creator, and then you tell it, based on everything in this thread, can you turn this into a skill? And it will do that. Then you can install that skill once the whole process is done. And then in the future, it will call it something like a video transcriber, email creator, meeting dashboard, whatever you choose to call it. And then you just backslash and run that skill again. So it's very meta, but yeah, the skill creator is also a skill that creates other skills.
Just last one to finish off the skill thing. And it can do things on my local file as well, because I've given it computer access.
100%.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That's
got
the
it.
one.
Got
yeah.
it. Got it.
And because in the skill, like in the SOP that we'll call it, it will actually like say what is the root file or the actual directory reference of the files we're talking about. This breaks sometimes if you fuck around and move files. So sometimes but again, the best thing about Claude is it'll be like, oh, hang on, Divi, the file's not there anymore. Can you tell me where you moved it? Because it's no longer where it is in the like SOP anymore. And then you're like, oh, that's all cool. The new video is here. The new thing is here. So it's like very self-improving and very iterative. It's not just like a kid that will just like go error, error, error. It will ask you where to go.
Got it. Last question before I want to hand it over to you to run us with Claude Code and share your screen is what about plugins? What are plugins if they're not connectors and if they're not skills? Where does this sit?
Yeah, so I think what a plugin is, I might be wrong here, but essentially a MCP is like going from all of your brainstorming happens in Claude, and then you push a request out to a platform you're currently using. For example, like Tally, and you can tell it to do things and then bring data back. A plugin, one of these things over here, is they are kind of like they sit within Claude. So they help you. You know what? Let's just do it right now. Can you just install the design plugin right now? Yep, just go plus. So it helps you with, in this case, like design workflows. So I haven't used this design one myself. It's going to be interesting. Accelerate design workflows, critique management.
This is Claude Design? Is that what they're talking about?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of like Claude Design.
Is this Claude Design? No. Okay. All right.
It's kind of like it's like a design plugin. It kind of helps power up any workflows you're doing within Claude that are relating to design. So it's kind of like you've just kind of imported a design consultant who's very good at helping you critique and give you feedback on things. If you are building things in Figma, you take a screenshot, you're like, what do you think? And you can see how it says try asking at the bottom of the screen. It gives you example of prompts. Now, I'm not a designer, so someone who is creative, like this might make more sense, but it's got these preloaded skills right there. So see how you went backslash and you went design critique over there, and that's brought up a skill for you right there because you've installed it. So now if you upload a file and you're like, yeah, perfect, that's literally, add it in right now, and let's see how it runs. I don't know if you're ready for some tough love. This is
AI critiquing AI. I didn't make that.
Oh, okay, amazing. This is.
I wanted to test its poster ability.
You get AI to like debug and critique itself, and it's pretty savage sometimes. Awesome. So it says, running skill is basically the equivalent of running an SOP, running a process that we've pre-written. The difference here is though we basically installed pre-made skills that kind of came ready out of the box, but you can create your own. That's what the skill creator is all about. It's like, if you do things that are unique to Jungli and there's a series of steps only you do, you want to be making your own skills. Sometimes you might just be like, I'm sure there's a generic process. Someone in operations or someone in design has probably solved this before. Let me go to the plugins marketplace, search for it, and then see if someone's actually like got a pack of skills that all come together.
I got it. In music world, we call that Ableton packs.
Ableton packs.
I get it.
That's perfect. That's exactly it. Sound packs, Ableton packs. Yeah.
Got it.
Of course, I should have made analogies relevant to the audio now. Okay, I'll fully analyze it. Let me render the poster and deliver the critique.
I don't know what this font is, by the way, guys. This is not me, I promise. Yuck.
Amazing. So you use AI. Did you just one shot it through Canva, or what created that one?
Yeah, it was like the first thing I did. I opened it up. I was like, hey, make me a poster for Jungli the Nomad Fest. Here's my brand guide. Here's the landing page.
That's not bad.
I just wanted to like see what it did. I obviously didn't use the logo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it actually just gives critique. This is really cool, actually. Like if I was to make a design and, and then it can fix it. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yep. Okay. That's the best thing about it. It always just gives you recommendations, and you're literally chatting them most of the time being like, yep, do that. Don't like it. Yep. Like it's just, it's.
Okay, cool.
How good is that?
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think that's enough of my screen and my questions, man. I'd love to ask you, share your screen. Tell us about Claude Code. Tell us your use cases. What have you been cooking up over there?
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna make sure I'm not sharing anything. No tear.
Bro, you better be careful.
I know. Okay, very good. So there's the internet's kind of split into two. I'm just gonna do this right now. I don't know how much you can see this. I'm gonna try and increase that. Probably not much. There's this big, really boring text document right now, and I just found it on Mac by searching terminal. Right? Everyone's got it on Mac, but we don't usually use it. Now, when you install Claude, I'm not going to show you how to install Claude Code, but like it's pretty easy too. You can just actually Claude Code. You can basically operate your terminal within your actual, so you can operate Claude Code within your terminal. Notice how it's got the little icon over here. It's got some details like the context, what I'm using right now. And this is basically like a wrapper, a nice clean wrapper around terminal. Terminal can be quite intimidating because it's like a lot of coding language. The reason why the world is loving Claude Code is, and for anyone who hasn't heard of like transcription to text tools, I highly recommend you make an investment. I don't care if it is Whisperflow. I don't care if it is Nido. I don't care if it is even just the native like Mac transcription tool. Like I'm talking right now and it's picking up what I'm saying. And because I can talk faster than I can type, this is what vibe coding is. People talk to their AIs and rail things off like this so that you can tell it what you want to do with more information. Divi, I think you mentioned that you were like typing and then you realized you could transcribe. So that's an example of how you can navigate or interface, I would say, with Claude Terminal. With Claude Code. Now, this is can be quite intimidating, and some people don't actually want to like run within terminal. So, like we had before, when you navigate between those three different screens over here, that third one on the far right, which is called code, this is exactly the same as what I just then showed you. This took me weeks to actually understand the difference between what I just then showed you in terminal, which all the internet geeks and developers were like, open terminal on your Mac and then install Claude Code or whatever. You don't have to do that. This does the same thing. There's mild pros and cons to using it in the terminal versus using it in the app. For 99% of people here, use it within the app. This is fine. The only reason you'd want to use it in that terminal app I showed you is if you're a psychopath. So we can just write that off because you guys are all great people. And Divi wouldn't have you on the call if you were like in any way like left of center. So for example, man, I don't even know where to start with this. I don't even know how to describe this one. There's just been so many crazy things I've been building. Divi, you know how I mentioned I built that website? Like I vibe coded that website, which is now like all of my guides as an example.
Yep. Sorry, I was on mute. Yep.
Yeah, all good. So for example, what I can do is you can probably see like the interactions I'm having on the left are like, they're either things that I'm typing or talking into. And then it's obviously just like Divi showed before, it will then run and go do all of these things. Most of the time, I'm not really too sure exactly what's going on. Now, I built a website basically that kind of hosted an archive of all these past newsletters and guides that I've created. Divi actually really kindly shares them every now and then to others if it's something that like I'm helping people out with content. But it got really, really onerous to try and update this website because I was previously doing it on WordPress, and WordPress is slow and boggy and it's the bane of the internet. I basically gave it kind of like, I used my MCP access through Claude Code to bulk export every email newsletter I'd ever written within Kit, which is my email platform. I then got it to rewrite all of those. And let me see if I can pull it up for you. Claude, where is my Claude Code project? I'm realizing right now that like everything pops up really small. So I'm going to try increase the size of it so you guys can see.
It's okay. We can actually see it fine.
Let's try this. All right. Maybe let's go that big. So I basically got it to like access all of these past articles from Kit. Because Claude has direct access to all the files on my desktop, it can access the text files, use its reasoning model, whether it's Opus or it's Sonnet or it's Haiku. Opus is like the brain you only use in like maybe 1% of cases to plan projects. Sonnet is good for 90% of everyday use cases. And Haiku is if you need it to just bulk do something that doesn't need much thinking or reasoning, but it's just a repetitive task over and over. So that's the difference between the models. I got it to then basically go to each of these files that I got from my website, and I got it to rewrite and create like an index file, a HTML file of each of my guides so that I could then push it onto a website. I didn't do any of it. I didn't touch a line of code. It was just something that I wanted to do for the longest time. The images aren't rendering just for a different technical reason.
Mama, I'm really sorry. Can I pause you and ask you something? Yeah. I tried to do the same thing yesterday. It took me so long with Cowork, and now see I should have used code. Did you do it by just typing go to Kit and scrape all the newsletters and put them into a folder over
100%,
here?
100%. That's exactly what happened. Yep. So what I did was emails all over here. This is why Claude Code is so much faster what you're trying to achieve. It basically scraped. Some of these might look familiar to you, Divi. I'm seeing if I can get any ones where I'm featuring you. Oh, where were you?
Chill, bro.
No, I'm trying to find the Jungli one. I survived
the
one week.
The latest one is the Jungli one.
1 week in an Indian jungle. Perfect. So this is a news that I wrote after I had a life-changing week in Jungli. And subject, date, and it turned it all into this MD file. But the problem is that sometimes in these emails, I would have like timely things like click here or join this or I'm launching this next week or whatever like that. And I was like, I want to turn these into evergreen blogs, but I do not have the time to go through, let's see how many files, 153 past emails. So I got a script where I told it to go into each of these emails and rewrite them so they're evergreen. And now it has this folder called, let me go back to my Claude Codes, my projects, website guides. Each of these are different articles that I have over here. And I go, I survived a week in an Indian jungle. I'm going to open this one up, and it's created this one for me. So it is now repurposed an existing email that I was just sitting on that I could now turn into an evergreen blog. Look at these beautiful people. This is a bit of a back. This should look familiar to most of you guys. The pool was awesome. Thanks for taking those shots, Geet. I appreciate you. This is the old version. I don't know if the branding has changed ever since then. This is us doing some awesome stuff. Oh my God, what a great week. Oh, I want to come back to Jungli. I'm getting reminiscent. Who's that legend? All right. So I had this basically rewritten and I turned it into a website. And then again, through vibe coding just within Claude, and I'm not going to go much into it back and forth, but I basically gave it permission to this website hosting tool called Netlify. I saw it in your connectors or your skill Divi. I know you're using it, I think, to vibe code your website, which is awesome. Netlify is kind of like a GoDaddy for those who may be around the internet, GoDaddy Namecheap. It can host kind of websites and domains, but it skips all the crap of having to buy a domain, and it can just host like junglios.netlify.app for free. The only catch is you get a number of credits every month to deploy it. So every time you push a deployment, it uses 15 credits. And so the magic that you actually want to do is you want to try and build a website in Claude or build like an app or whatever you're doing in Divi's case, and you can get Claude to preview it offline. It creates an offline preview for you to see so you don't have to keep pushing changes. That's called a local host or a local preview. That avoids you burning all of your credits and pushing all of these deployments. So what I do is I keep working on it, I keep working on it, I keep working on it. I'm going to see if I can actually give you an example of a preview here. I go set up and see if I can, let me just go, give me a preview of the current index.html file. You guys might have seen, but I just then spoke that because it just saves me having to do it. Preview, which one would you like to start? Yep, 365, yes. And then that way, it should boot it in a second. This is going to be a really good test to see if it does what it needs to. Tools need launch JSON, Claude folder, creating it. Awesome, we'll come back to it. But the reason I do that is because it helps me see it offline, or at least on my desktop, before I push it online. So you can make all these little micro changes. And when you are vibe coding, you're going, change that, less bar, increase the CTA, I don't like the color, bang, 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 bang. You're just making all these quick rapid changes offline, you're iterating. And when it's finally ready to push or go into production, which is like just a fancy way of saying going live, you can literally then say, push it, go live. And as you can see, I simply say things like yes, a one-word blue word, and it goes done, committed, it's pushed. You don't have to worry about GitHub, but it says it's live here right now. And so I can now click on that, and the actual live web page looks like this. I'm not coding. I didn't do any of it. Claude made this all for me. It has a light and dark mode. I can search keywords like Jungli, and it pops up over here. And these is the entire, I didn't code any of this. I'm terrible at this. I think the conclusion I'm trying to say is I don't need anyone here to like make a blog and do the equivalent thing. I want you to be like, what is the bottleneck in my life or my business that I'm struggling with right now that I want Claude to just bulk do for me? Like, I don't want to rewrite all these emails. I don't want to do X, Y, Z. I'm struggling with this. Start brainstorming with Claude. You can do it in chat. You can do it in code. And it can be like, oh yeah, we have a process for that, Mamba. We can bulk export everything with your Kit API. I was like, I didn't even know I had a Kit API. And I was like, where do I get it? It's like, go to this link, do this. This is how you get your Kit API. So if you're ever intimidated and you don't know how to do something, ask AI how to do it. It will tell you it, and be like, I'm a fifth grader with no technical background. I'm not a software engineer. Simplify it for me. Walk me through step by step, and it will tell you how to do everything you need to. Let me see if I've got the preview.
Sorry, Mama, can I jump in and ask a question over here selfishly?
Yeah, go for it.
This is freaking amazing. How can I move my project? Should I move my project of MowgliOS from Cowork to Claude Code so that I can preview it? Because I'm doing the same thing, hundreds of little changes.
Yep.
I am pushing not on Netlify, I'm pushing on Cloudflare, $5
awesome.
a month, and it's unlimited, so that's fine. But I still want to be able to preview it quickly, like how I do with Wix and stuff.
Yeah.
So should I move to Code, and how do I do that?
Code's going to be your answer. Code's going to let you preview everything. Cowork's just like the slower cousin that's still yet to catch up. So the way you would do that, and this is like maybe a bit of like a YouTube video I could probably link to you, is long term, you want to dedicate one folder on your desktop that is just called Claude. Like, you can call it whatever you want, and it's going to be like the home of everything. And to give you an idea of like what I've got, you then set up what's called like projects, just like a folder that has every single project. And that to me is going to be like, you'll have a project file that will just be called Jungli-OS. And it's going to have your Claude.md file. It's going to have any like assets that you have. It's going to have every project, for example, has like a Claude MD file. So you know how you made a Claude MD file for your everything in Cowork, which is like a Claude MD about Divi and who you are. You can then create a Claude.md file for every project. So a project might be JungliOS, and it just keeps updating in real time all the changes that you've made, and everything is a point of reference. You then start a new Claude Code project. So let me go Claude for a second. I might go do a new session. At the bottom of every session, it's always going to ask you to point to a folder. The easiest usually to do is Claude, but if there's a specific project you want it to work to, so for example, the website guides project, that's the one that I just then had. Time to build weekly newsletter. We write a weekly newsletter. It used to take me 2 hours to write. Now it takes 5 minutes with a script, and I come in for the last 10%. It's crazy because I did the process 3-4 times, and then I went, Claude, I'm getting sick of this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Can you scrape it? And it was like, yep, I can access the Circle MCP. I can access Google Sheets MCP. I can pull the URLs of everyone that you want to feature this week. All I need you to do is tell me, like, I can access the events that happened last week so I can use the banners. It was just like, it blew my mind. And I was like, I have been operating at the first gear and I've been missing the ability to operate in the 7th gear by just asking questions. So you guys need to give yourself permission to be dumb, be stupid, ask questions that you think are like, I don't know if I should know this by now. Don't. Like, it has access to everything that's been ever created on the internet. Ask it, and then say, yes, build it, do that. Push it as far as you can is really the name of the game. But that's a little bit about in terms of like what I do on my end. I'm not going to go into the latest workflow that's been cracked, Divi. This is a separate convo for you and me. But I basically get Claude to like pre-edit my videos for Instagram. And I know this is going to be a game changer. I transcribe videos, I feed it in, I call it like, there's like a B-roll and also like a content editor. But it takes the transcripts of videos, I point it to the file of raw videos so it knows where the raw videos are, and Cowork can't do this. Claude Code can do this. It's like, oh, I know that video is in 30 frames per second. It's 4K. It's in this resolution. Here's the metadata. And then now you give a transcription alongside it and it pre-cuts all the clips, exports an XML file for me, which in Final Cut. I now click it and I have the entire video pre-cut because it now knows, like, Dan, you ummed 4 times. The 5th take was the right one. The story feels right here. We've like pre-arranged the clips. And the next thing that I'd love to sell probably at some point is I have something that can basically find all of my B-roll footage across my entire hard drive because I've indexed it all. And it can now source the B-roll footage that complements certain lines that I say in a video, which I know you're having an orgasm right now because you know how painful it is to go and try and access B-roll footage when it's all over your iCloud, your Google Drive, your phone, your hard drive. B-roll is a painful thing to do. I can now basically give it. Let me show if I can see the B-roll test that I did. This is crazy. Oh, I had to archive a chat. Okay, I'll just give you a quick example. I'll give you a quick example of the output that happened. All right. Because this one's blowing my mind. Again, this might not be relevant to everyone here.
Employees that she has to let go of.
Okay, let me go. All right. So, again, just like I did with the kit emails, I basically said, hey, Claude, this folder has 5-10 years worth of random clips from my iPhone, and they're all called image_079, image_0. You guys know the deal. You guys have got it right on your hard drives. I was like, can you run some kind of process? I again naively said this. Can you run a process where you can review all of them, catalog them, and name them with metadata? And it was like, yep, we can do that. We can access all of them. We'll take a screenshot of every first slide of a video, run Claude Visual, which is a script where it goes to like the API server, makes a description based on what's in the video. We'll rename the file on your behalf. So for example, like let me go into, bloody heck, what was lifestyle, travel international. This one was, right? All these files have all been renamed. Travel International Alpine, Travel International Arch, Travel International Rival. That was me with a sweaty back. Jeez, I'm showing you guys all my travel experiences. Travel International.
I was literally
Beach
about
Station.
to make a post for editor in residence at Jungli to do this very job. Like, this is insane.
Bro, it can do it all for you, right? So then the output is now in this folder called there's photos. It sorted all the photos alone. It sorted all the videos. And I asked it today, I gave it like a trial run. And I said, I want you to find 3 scenarios for B-roll and export them into this folder. I said, I want a situation where I'm at home, right, cooking food. I want a situation where I'm doing exercise and there's a subject in the video. And I want one where there's someone outdoor in the bush, right? It ran through the whole process. 1 minute later, it went through 5,000 pieces of media that I have. 5,000 pieces of photo and video media. And it came back with these. I said 3 of each. 3 photos, right? Dog, me cooking. Photo, from all over the place. Now, you can specify with more detail exactly what you want. But in this case, it has basically nailed all of them. Right? I said for like bush outdoors with a dog, walking in the bush, because all the files are named and it's created basically this like thing called Jason Derulo. No, it's like it's a JSON file. Let me show you this thing. It's called a JSON file, and it's gobbledygook, but it is a master record of all the metadata. Like this all looks like gobbledygook. You don't need to worry about it. It built it on its own. I haven't had to open it. And if you look really closely, you'll see little like micro descriptions of certain files. If you like highlight it, tags, tropical vacation, beach day, over water. So when you use natural language and say, I need 4 pieces of B-roll that include beach day, turquoise water, source drive, it will now go through this whole file and go, yep, We have a file that we've renamed. We know which one it is. We'll grab it from Mamba and we'll ship it across to him, or paste it into the project folder he's currently editing his video in. So instead of having to, it'll just copy and move it to wherever you need to. So that's an example of like a literal pain point that I had in my day-to-day life. I asked it questions and was like, there's got to be a smarter way of doing it. And it was like, yep, we got it. We're going to run a script. And now it saves it as a script. A script is a fancy version of the skill. A skill is what you can kind of feed co-work, but a script is kind of like the elite version of that Terminal uses to run commands on your desktop, or Claude Code can use. So it's the language is synonymous.
And you asked all of this to Claude Code, not to Claude Code.
Claude Code, not Claude Code.
Got it.
Yeah, correct. You just have that chat over here, and these chats were all the ones that you were doing it. I think it doesn't really...
So for some reason, I thought Claude Code, you have to be a coder. Like, I didn't know you can just talk to Claude Code. That's my bad. I should have just jumped over and tried it out.
100%. And that was the gap that I had. That was the exact same thing that I had. So this is the chat I was actually meaning to say. I was like, when I ran the test, it tells you what it's doing and where it's outputting things like that. So I was like, oh, give me some clips of like ocean and cats outdoors and Burning Man at night or whatever. And so it runs it. This is all natural language. Like this, all I'm having over here, it looks like I've typed it, but again, I'm using whisper flow or voice to note transcription because you can just talk faster than you can type. So Maddie hears me talking.
But one sec, why are you not just talking into the mic in the chatbot? That's what I've been doing.
This one, you absolutely can. I found that the accuracy of it isn't as high, but yes, like nailed it. If you don't want to be an idiot like me and spend $20 US on a tool called Whisperflow, which is like a transcription tool, you can work into the chat. I'm a bit of a nerd div because I'm building Claude MDs in my second brain. Every time I chat, Flow remembers and transcribes everything that I'm saying. So all these conversations, this is every time I chat or do something on the screen, it remembers all of these little micro transcriptions I have. So I have like a hotkey on my keyboard whenever I start chatting, and these are all my little vibe coding conversations I'm having. I can then bulk export all of these for like analysis about my language, how I speak, how I deliver, the clarity of my thought, so that then when I write emails or when I write landing page copy and I'm like, I want you to emulate my actual natural spoken style. Because a lot of people don't realize that when you try and type, your brain goes, I want to sound smart. I'm going to really like curate and filter what I'm about to say. And then you start typing and you're typing really slow and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, the most natural language is the one that comes from your mouth. That's how you talk. So if you want your copy and your landing page and your content and your whatever you're doing online to sound like you, this data I find is really good to feed into Claude and be like, hey, can you review all of my spoken transcriptions? Make a bit of an MD file based on how I talk, what my language is, what's my slang, am I long, am I complicated, am I technical, and then use that to emulate for future copies. That's why I do it, but you don't have to. I'm just being a bit fancy.
No, it's good to know.
Yeah.
Mate, amazing. I know you're over time as well. You probably have other fish to fry.
You're good.
But holy shit, bro. This has been insane. One last question.
Yeah.
What is the total monthly spend on AI apps right now? Come on.
I think it's 220 Australian dollars. So maybe
that's not bad.
It's not bad, 140. And that's because I just upgraded to the 5X Max plan on Claude. I also have Gemini Pro and I also have GPT Plus as well, because for the same reason, they all have different use cases. And so
and Whisperflow.
And Whisperflow as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it might be a bit more, considering how quickly you're on ramping, and then later down when you have some processes set up, you might actually downgrade, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I'm nearly at the point of downgrading GPT as well. I've gone through the painful process. A lot of people might have the friction where you started with GPT because you're the first mover. I am bulk exporting context and MD files basically from ChatGPT. I'm going to Threads and I'm writing meta prompts and I'm like, summarize everything in this chat, turn it into a concise MD file that I can feed into Claude. So I'm basically telling like my ex-partner that I am moving on from them and I'm cheating on them and I'm going to see someone new, and ChatGPT doesn't like, go like, fuck you, I'm not going to share anything. It just has to follow because it's obedient and it's a sycophant. So yeah, that's my current issue.
Wow.
Then I'll unsubscribe from ChatGPT. That's fine.
Epic. Is this call recorded?
Whole thing's recorded, yeah, man. We got it on Fathom, which is the next thing you need to install if you're not already, man. Every team call, every discussion, get Fathom. You'll ask through Claude. You'll get the API key through Fathom. No, I think there's an MCP they released like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Install the Fathom MCP. Every time there's a call that comes through, the notes will come through. You can get it to analyze, send an email based on next best steps, or prepare an email or a message you can send on WhatsApp, whatever's right for you and your team. So yeah things get really cool.
This is something we can think about after, but if you're open to it, I would love to talk to you about maybe uploading this on YouTube and being a collaborative post with Jungli and Mamba.
Yeah, if it helps.
Sharing it with Jungli community, showing that we're building this app, showing your expertise and explaining these are the kind of things that they're going to learn at Nomad Fest.
Done, dude. Done. 100% fine. Because I felt today was just like a hot mess of just like, let's click and clack and show this and do what's working. But I want it to be an example for everyone's brain to just gone, oh shit, like there's probably more that I can do that's right in front of me. I don't have to copy what everyone around me in the newsfeed's doing, but it's like, start with what's right in front of your nose and just solve for that. That's how you're going to learn. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know where to start with AI. I'm like, start with the problems in your life and then ask, how can AI solve it? AI is not the solution to your life. It's you being like, I've now got like an expert, expert consultant working in my corner, and they can give me critique and feedback and review of what I'm already doing. That's kind of it. But yeah, dude, I'm happy to share this for sure. That's a no-brainer. I didn't think there was much value in this. The one I'll do in Jungli will be more organized and will be more like use case and hopefully quick wins for everyone. But I just wanted to like keep you moving. Once you sent me that like voice note, I was like, dude, you're on the run. Like, I just want you to just go, just 10x your speed. Yeah.
I'm extending my stay here to get this app done because it's going to give so much value to the team.
Awesome.
Guys, I'm sure everyone's super grateful to Mamba, and we can like unmute and say thanks if you like. And then if you want, I'll share a Google Meet link and I'll put it in the Mamba X Jungli chat. If you feel like chatting and decompressing and letting Mamba go, but all of us can actually just chat and share how mind-blown we are. I'm down to chat for 5-10 minutes if you guys are keen. But no pressure, just an invite.
Love it. No, it's a really good one. And I think, Divi, like the fact you're already leading by example, there's so many like little technical and small questions that we just couldn't cover today. So guys, like take Divi's call. If you're like got in front of you or there's a burning thing that you have top of mind, like Divi's, I'm not even joking. You're at the level that I was probably at like 2.5 weeks ago from what you've already built. And I'm not even saying I'm more advanced. I've just literally had more time in Claude talking to it. I've got 100,000 words I've told it, which is basically a book from just like me vibe coding, talking to it. So this is one of those cases where like you spend 1 hour in it, you'll be decent. You spend 10 hours in it, you'll be ahead of 99% of the population. You spend 100 hours in it, you are like literally genius level. It's like with all things in life, it's just iteration and compounding exposure. So I think there's one more question I had, by the way, from Kaiman. I'll just like chime in before he goes. Thanks for sharing, Mamba. Do you have any data privacy concerns? Always, brother, my friend, always. There never goes. And thank you for recognizing the drawback. Anthropic, I'm not saying they're better than GPT. I think they're all loose and hard on some of their standards with safety. There's one thing they can say and publish in their PR coated messages of what they stand for and where their ethics are and what their guidelines are. I think if you're running a massive LLM model that is trained on multi-million dollar, millions of pieces of information, it's very hard to have a fully watertight, privacy perfect like platform. So I'll admit that all of them are definitely an issue. A few things that I do to protect myself against privacy concerns that I have, chats that are really important in Claude, in GPT, and I think in Gemini, you can turn on incognito mode. So if you don't want it to remember things in chats, or you're potentially sharing private information, or you're getting it to, review like your financial statements or things like that, turn it into incognito mode. In most of the settings you have with these apps, you can tell that you do not want to share any of your data anonymously for training. You can figure it out, but if you go to settings for most of these apps, unfortunately, they default toggle them on, which is really annoying because they're trying to be cheeky and they're trying to train on your data to become better. Toggle them all off where possible. And I think there's also just like a few things where it's like, I love using Claude Code as an example because you can do what's called sandboxing. You know, when you have a sand pit that kids can play in and there's like boundaries on the outside where it's kind of the boundary of the sand pit. Sandboxing is kind of like what you can do with Claude Code. You tell it very explicitly, only work in this folder, only access these files. I don't want you doing anything else. Claude Code got crazy because some people just said, yeah, Claude, just do everything on my computer and I'm not going to sandbox anything. And that's when like API keys, trade secrets, PII information got out, like credit card statements started going. I don't know why people were doing that. So you hear those news stories about the 1% of cowboys that don't know how to like secure their data privacy and have nightmare situations. But the average reasonable user like you, me, Divi, or whatever, you just go through all the standard protocols. And there's so many great videos on YouTube that like of like really great people. You're like, how do I secure or how do I lock down my AI? Because unfortunately, like, there is a level of, I don't really know if some of the stuff that I'm sharing is going to be trained or is going to be in a model and they can encrypt it and anonymize it and do everything they say. But I've also acknowledged the trade-off of having this speed and this power is that there may inevitably be some of this information that I'm sharing. So the test that Divi and I had back at Uber, just to finish this kind of thought or this note, is whenever we wrote emails or we did anything internally, we said, well, I don't know, Divi, if your team did this, but we had a couple of leaks for a couple of like not so good things and we were a bit not loved by the governments of Australia when Uber was a bit legal, but also not legal, but also somewhere in between. We said, would you stand by this if this was leaked to the Sunday Morning Herald tomorrow? That was a really good heuristic we had. You remember that? Yeah, the newspaper test. Mm-hmm. If this got leaked, would you stand by it? So if what you're sharing with AI got accessed or got leaked or someone subpoenaed you or the government came after you or some regulator had a case against you or there's someone in the world who just has a bad bone to pick against you and they somehow found access or they were in these tools and they found a chat that you had where you shared something. That's the thought that I always think before I'm about to share, like share something in the chats. I have like nearly nothing in my personal life within chats. It's purely work. It's purely stuff that is either going live or helping my clients or helping my customers in my community. So yeah, there's no perfect worlds. There's no benefits without drawbacks. But I think it takes us being armed and just like push for the platform that you feel the most aligned with your values for privacy, and read their documents, read their statements, read what they say online about their ethics and their policies and their standards, and see which one's right for you. Because I don't want to sway people to Claude just because I'm being a hype boy right now, but I concluded from where I landed, I was like, I thought they were one of the better ones for the work that I'm doing anyway, but it might not be the case for everyone here. So I hope that helps.
If I can add to that, I'm also going to run JungliOS through to developers before I give it any real data.
That's 100%.
I think there's still very much a role for humans here to give it a safety layer, because it's like I want to be really, really careful about that stuff.
Yeah, and as soon as, like in your case, Divi, and the awesome caveat that's different to maybe like, Anne and Greg and Barty and everyone who else is on this call or watching the replay, is in the context of this call, I shared some things that were kind of like solving for me, but what Divi has shared is like kind of like essentially like an enterprise app. He is dealing with PII, which is personal identification information, which was treated with like utmost respect when we were at Uber. We had like thousands of drivers, like credit card details, billings, addresses, driver credentials, all this. So we had to be locked tight with data. And what you've just said about making sure you run it through developers that have spent 5-10 years, they still are going to QA. They're going to have best practice security, protocols. You don't want someone to like access an API key of yours, Divi, because you accidentally hard coded it into one of your like HTML files while just doing a chat. Then someone on the website goes, "Oh, great, Divi has an unsecure like website or app. I'm just going to scrape all of his customer information, leak it to the internet, run fraud on all of them." Like that's why you're going to go through that rigor. For most of us who are just building little individual apps and hacks, like something to transcribe videos, something that doesn't involve PII, you might not need to go through that level of like, I'm going to spend, a couple $100 on a developer to like QA something. But thank you for throwing that piece in, because some of you may eventually build something that does become client facing or customer facing, and you just want to keep that in mind.
Amazing, bro. Mambachino. Love you, man. Give Maddie a big hug.
I will, brother.
And thank you so much again for helping us out. You're so generous, bro. You're going to be the best AI trainer on the fucking planet, dude. You're born for this.
We're rusty, but we're getting there, man. I just want everyone to win. I just want everyone to win with this stuff. It's like
same. Yes.
I can't sleep sometimes. I just finish a problem and I solve something and I'm like, oh my goodness, what else can we do? What else can we do?
It's so addictive. I've been in that zone for the last 2 days. It's like making music. I'm in art mode.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I 100% feel it. And I'm waiting for the dopamine slump to hit. Like I can't be riding this wave forever. So I'll go for a run, I'll go for a walk right now. But I love you and leave you guys. And for anyone, again, like no pressure whatsoever. If there's anything you want to follow up or just test or QA, either chat to Divi afterwards or just connect with me on Instagram if you want. You can just find my name, Daniel Mamba or whatever. Just send me a DM. Happy to just get you in the right direction, or send some like really good YouTube videos if you feel quite intimidated about just the first hour of learning this stuff. There are a couple of amazing educators on YouTube I also want to give credit to who helped me get started with my journey. And it's like once you get past that friction of like, oh, that seems too much and too technical, it's like you're just like, you're like a 4-year-old learning, like just learning how to play again. You're like, this is infinite power, and it gets really, really cool.
Yeah, message Mamba and Mamba's bot will respond.
100%. Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, that's the next thing I'm building, mate, and hence why I'm not sleeping tonight. All right, love you guys.
Awesome.
I will
Cheers, mate.
Divi. I'll follow up separately, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Cheers.